All right, you guys, let's get started. Oh my goodness. YouTube is tightening down the clamps. I had to take down yesterday's video. They came after manual review and tagged the video. I tried to upload it on the backup channel, but it got tagged there too. And of course, that was all about the pharma industrial complex. We had a lot of disclosure in that video. And so I'm really hoping that everything works out, but I take those videos down because once they tag them, then it automatically gets reviewed for a strike, and we don't want to start catching strikes again. What else happened? Gosh, someone had put up a comment that came up in my notifications. The comment was about the Pokemon stickers and the syndrome that happened in the Gulf, and how there was an actual phenomenon. Now, mainstream media acknowledges that this happened, but when someone posts a comment, the comment actually got removed by YouTube. Now, I had screenshotted that comment because all I could see was the notification. You could not find the comment. And I know the person didn't remove their own comment, so it must have been YouTube. So I screenshotted the notification and I posted it in the community tab. But then I was sleeping last night and God's like, you need to probably pull that down because they could get you for that. Because they do not want to make anyone making any connections between the Pokemon sticker and anything that happens to anybody. So I pulled that down. So apologies for that. Enough people saw it. I think it had 1,000 likes or something by the time I pulled it down. So it served its purpose. It got the word out that this is what they're afraid of. YouTube's afraid of people bringing up points in history, things that have happened with certain sensitive topics. They do not want that catching fire again. They do not want that being talked about. And so they will actually hide those comments. Now, there was nothing wrong with the comment other than that they mentioned something, a period in history that is very sensitive to the powers that be and the controllers. So, crazy times, you guys. So let's get into the dark side of Toy Story. The mark in the hand and the forehead. So I, of course, had promised to go back and re-decode the Toy Story franchise. So we're going to start with the 1995 film, the original Toy Story. As you can see here, released on 11/19. And remember that number, 1119. Because it does directly apply to what we're experiencing right now. And really our first clue that this could have something to do in it about what's going on right now during VidCo 19 is the fact that there were many clues. We're going to cover those later in the show. Clues relating directly to VidCo 19. Now, the second release date, as you can see here, is November 22nd, which is Massacre Day, related to May 22nd. The two dates are opposite each other on the witch's calendar. May 22nd is Massacre Day. This is why they chose November 22nd as JFK Assassination Day. So, these franchise decodes will serve as a record that each of these films shares similar themes of children/toys in boxes, tortured, traded, sold, and imprisoned. So I've got these clips pulled up. I put these together. The color's a little bit off, and it's probably for good reason, so that we don't catch a flag on this one. And in these first set of clips here, you're going to see the theme of boxed toys, which is synonymous with boxed children. In fact, Buzz actually arrives in a box as a present.
Oh boy, you take a look at all those presents? I can't see a thing.
So trapped toys in boxes. Buzz shows up in a box. Woody in this scene traps himself under a milk crate to hide from this boy Sid. Now Sid is an evil child who likes to torture toys. Now, these milk crates are significant because what is held in milk crates? Well, of course, milk. And milk represents human sacrifice and death. The boxed child theme then continues as the family is getting ready to move. And they all have to pick their moving buddies, or what boxes that they will go into with the other toys.
How did I get stuck with you as a moving buddy?
Everyone else was picked.
I need air. Will you quit moving around?
I'm sorry. It's just that I get so nervous before I travel.
For crying out loud, they're all in boxes, you idiot.
They're getting bigger.
Yes, sir, we're next month's garage sale fodder for sure.
Any dinosaur-shaped ones?
Now, of course, they're talking about being bought and sold at garage sales as the new kids in the boxes show up to replace the old kids or the old toys. New toys replacing old toys. Now, if this doesn't give you the heebie-jeebies, once you really think about the themes just hiding just beneath the surface with this, I don't know what will. This is overt in your face. You just have to have it explained. Once it's explained to you, then you begin to see the themes. Now let's keep going with this.
Oh, wait, there's a nice little one over there.
Now here's our first innuendo in the film with this child of color here and the little box that grows into a big box. And on his shirt, you see the acrinodrome molecule soccer ball. Now we're going to be using some coded language here, so Tom will probably help you out in the chat. And of course, acrinodrome exists with telemonin, we're going to call it, in the brain, and nutwall sauce. Obvious innuendo there, small turning big, and in the position carried by the boy of color.
Now empty that safe.
Now, what else do we have here? Well, here is the sticker programming, and this was going on all the way back then. Now, why would they have sticker programming in a kid's movie? Well, because children are the ones that they really want to get the stickers. They're the target audience. They just have to make everybody feel good enough about it. And the opening line in the movie is "stick 'em up and take the money," which basically is everything that's happening right now. This is the covert meaning. Stick everybody up and take the money. The fleecing of America through stickers and fear. Now, as I said, these themes that we're discussing today about the first film, they continue on through all the films. And you'll see that when we decode Toy Story 2. So, give me all your money.
All right, everyone, this is a stick up.
So, this is a stick up. That was the very first line of the film. Now, oftentimes, to protect the channel from copyright, I'll reverse the scenes. So you'll get like, it'll be backwards, but you still get the gist of what's being said. It's just scrambled around a bit in 9-second increments. You know, people always ask us, how is it you get to show all this stuff and you don't ever get your channel taken down? You know, people should be more concerned about what's going on with the controllers and the fact that we even have to hop around and jump through holes and do little tricks to get the information up there. But instead, you get a faction of the truth community that just automatically dismisses channels like this because we do such an effective job at getting around the algos. And truth be told, the way to do it, and I don't like to talk about this often because they'll just simply change the algos to fix it. And I'm not going to actually explain it because if I do, that's exactly what they'll do. But just understand that the scenes are mixed around, okay? And there's a certain frame of time that you can get away with and not raise any flags, let's put it that way. So let's keep going with this. So there's the stick up reference.
Don't anybody move.
You've been working on that draw. Fastest knobs in the West.
Now, Now we're going to get into the method of the Pokemon stickers, and that's the double shot. Now we all know there's a double shot, but did they know this back then? Apparently they did, because I'm going to show you two separate scenes with the same double shot message. Now, of course, draw backwards is almost the word warp, and we had exposed that. Draw deeps is warp speed backwards, almost. And this is about drawing into the human genome, let's call it. And so here, what he says, something about the draw, fastest draw in the West, working on that draw. Let's rewind that a little bit so you can hear that one more time.
Etch, you've been working on that draw. Fastest knobs in the West.
Fastest knobs in the West. Let's turn the volume up here. I have a feeling you guys can't hear this that well. All right. So now watch this part.
Hey, Etch. Draw. No! Got me again.
Got me again. So that's the second double shot, right? Let's keep going. Look in the background. Now, you know, I was a little bit hesitant about this whole hydra thing, but I've been seeing this everywhere. The programming is thick. And so as he's getting the second dose, the hydra is peeking out behind the blocks. Now, I also saw the hydra in the film Contagion. It was on a wall, a poster, an image of some kind of like a microscopic image. You could see these hydra-like, organisms in this poster. Many of you will remember that scene, or the picture on the wall just after the beginning of the spam-demic in that film, Contagion. And here it appears again in Toy Story. Let's keep watching.
Got me again. Draw. Hey, Etch. Draw.
Now, if you think this is a stretch, understand that it's not, because Toy Story actually tells us to look at the blocks. Because in other scenes, the blocks spell things. So we're supposed to look at the blocks to decode these things.
No one's ever attempted a double bypass brain transplant.
Another double shot mentioned here, a double brain transplant. And this is the part where Woody is trapped in Sid's room. Sid, I believe, is short for sadistic or sudden infant D syndrome. And then after he mentions the double bypass, he puts on a mask.
Now for the tricky part. Players!
Now, as I mentioned, this film released on 11/19, and the clock reads 19 too, 10 and 9. And it's, of course, next to the magnifying glass that Sid will later use to put the mark on Woody on his right hand and his forehead.
Bypass brain transplant. No one's ever attempted a double bypass brain transplant before.
So, once you begin to understand the whole spam-demic aspect to this film, then all of a sudden scenes like this one begin to make a whole lot more sense. The monkeys in a string. The red monkeys in a string. 12 monkeys, which of course is a reference to disease and a reference. They also talk about formulating a plan, formulas associated with drugs. Listen.
The monkeys aren't working! We're formulating another plan! Stay calm!
It's too short. We need more monkeys.
It's too short. We need more monkeys, which is, again, metaphor for running out of monkeys or running out of different ways to carry whatever it is they're trying to carry into us.
There aren't any more! That's the whole barrel! Woody, who's up there with you?
Now we're going to get into some innuendo. Now, I agree that a lot of this is probably subjective. Okay, now when we first did these decodes, people were like, your mind's in the gutter. Why would you even think that? But what I did was I left out scenes that I thought could go either way. I left them out of this decode, and I tried to only focus on scenes that I thought in my mind probably half of you, or at least more than half of you, would agree were inappropriate innuendo. For instance, I'm not going to talk about this cactus here, even though in my mind I know what this is. That's not part of this decode, because that people could say that's a stretch. That's ridiculous. So again, I'm only including the scenes that are overt and apparent to anyone who has any kind of cognitive ability and critical thinking. They'll go, oh yeah, there's a subliminal message there. So what's going on here? Let me check in with you guys, and then we'll keep going with this decode here. You guys with me here? Okay, great. Looks like you guys are all here. Okay, now this is the most damaging part of the film, in my opinion. Buzz arrives. He's the new toy. He's like the robot man. And a discussion and argument ensues about who is going to share the bed with Andy. And this is a big deal, as you're going to see here, because the entire discussion about who's going to share the bed with Andy takes place in Andy's bed. Now, this is cringy, because we all know what a Woody is, and now you know what Buzz is. Think of a wand by Hitachi. So in effect, the scenes you're going to see next are saying that Andy is upgrading from Woody to the Buzz.
Woody, what are you doing under the bed?
Now, this goes further. Now, this is a children's movie. Woody's face then all of a sudden becomes framed within Buzz's man parts, or his robot parts, I should say. In not one, but two scenes. Here's the second scene. Watch closely. Let me zoom this up so you guys can see this. Watch his hand. So, there's some programming going on there, right? Woody's face or head in Buzz's robot parts. And more innuendo in the description of Buzz's box that he came in. He's got a pulsating laser. Okay, so that's more innuendo. Now, listen to this next part.
That mistake is
because he talks about how Andy was too excited. And cake and ice cream is code for what comes out the front and what comes out the back.
sitting in your spot, Woody.
Nothing. I'm sure Andy was just a little excited. That's all. Too much cake and ice cream, I suppose. It's just a mistake.
Have you been replaced?
Hey, what did I tell you earlier?
So, there you go. More innuendo. You're going to see more backdoor jokes as well. After Andy throws Buzz right on top of Woody in a certain position.
Because you see, the bed here is my spot.
I need to repair my turbo boosters. Do people still use fossil fuels? Or you mean that happy child?
That ain't no happy child. He tortures toys just for fun.
Wait. What is this part? Hold on.
You mean that happy child?
You been replaced?
Hey, what did I tell you earlier? Because you see, the bed here is my spot.
I need to repair my turbo boosters. Do people still use fossil fuels? Or you mean that happy child?
That ain't no happy child. He tortures toys just for fun.
Oh, Pizza Planet?
Pizza Planet? Oh, cool.
I mean, Humpty Dumpty was pushed.
So those are the backdoor jokes as Andy throws Buzz on top of Woody in a position as the mom says that they're going to Pizza Planet. We all know that Pizza Planet was probably named after another very popular pizza place. And then they confirm the innuendo a few seconds later as Mr. Potato Head talks about Humpty Dumpty, which of course is a slang for back doors.
Oh, cool.
I mean, Humpty Dumpty was pushed.
Go watch. Oh, Pizza Planet.
Pizza Planet. Oh, cool.
I mean, Humpty Dumpty was pushed.
Go wash your hands.
Pizza Planet. Oh, cool.
Go wash your hands.
Now, I repeat these scenes a few times because you really need to see it a few times to understand the innuendo. Yeah, because this is subliminal stuff. You know, you're not going to see this until you see it a couple times. So please don't get frustrated with that. Some people complain, why do you repeat it so much? Because you need to see it a few times to understand the innuendo. Let's keep watching. And then, of course, Woody has this disgusted look on his face after he pushes Buzz off of him. But Buzz seems to have a different perspective. Now, let's keep going here because there's even more. I mean, this is just crazy. Now, adults probably picked up on this, but the excuse that I got from a lot of people as to why these subliminal messages were there was to entertain adults while they're watching a children's movie. And to me, that's just unacceptable. You know, you should, when you go watch a children's movie, you should watch a children's movie. There shouldn't be all this stuff tucked away in these movies. Now, obviously, there's something going on here, but listen to the dialogue of this screenshot here. Because almost every scene in this film has some kind of innuendo in it.
Everyone up for a staff meeting and be happy.
Got it.
Everyone for a staff meeting and be happy. The staff meeting scene. And that brings us to the scene that started this whole decode process. When I saw that scene, I was like, that's crazy. There's something going on right there. There's some innuendo. Now think of a staff meeting. Think of a staff as an object. So Woody announces the staff meeting and he tells him to be happy. And then the dog grows as a result of being happy just after Woody says, and then just after that, Woody says hello to a snake.
Be happy.
Staff meeting, everybody. Snake.
It doesn't matter how much we're played with.
Then Woody talks about being played with as he grabs Mike by the mic and he jerks the mic forward a few times as Mike's eyes blink. And you see this all better when it plays out in slow motion. Let's play it. And all this takes place next to a Tinker Toy box as he's tinkering with the toy.
Like this one. This is a quality sound system. Probably all copper wiring, huh?
Now we get into the serpent seed. As the unclean piggy bank, who is full of copper pennies, the unclean metal, he wonders if Buzz is full of copper wiring. So this is all doublespeak here. Serpent seed doublespeak.
So, where you from? Singapore? Hong Kong? It's a quality sound system. Probably all copper wiring, huh? So, where you from? Singapore? Hong Kong?
Now, we have a lot of videos here on the channel about copper and how it will play an integral role in these end times. So if you don't know about copper, just do a channel search for the word copper and Enterthestars. It should all come up. We got probably 15-20 videos on copper. Now, the observation that we just made is later confirmed when Woody and Buzz pull into a Dynaco station. And here you see the serpent seed egg. Dynaco. Watch. Which probably stands for Dynaco vid. The Orphic egg, the serpent wrapped around the egg. And, of course, the Vav, Vav, Vav at the gas station, which, of course, is VVV, which is 666. So it's all confirmed in one scene here. Lost toys. Then they receive the mark on the forehead and the hand.
I'm lost. No.
Notice the second mark comes from the robot, Buzz. So that's your transhuman aspect. And, of course, this is about Helios. Because the sun is the thing creating the mark, isn't it? Helios, Apollo, Apollyon. It's the mark of Abaddon. The mark of the devil.
Yes, dude! You're talking to me.
Pizza Planet, of course, is Saturnalia reference there. Pretty simple stuff. We all know about Saturnalia. And, of course, all the other things associated with pizza. Now, Saturn is also Kronos, right? So this links into Helios and Apollyon as well. Omikronos, time.
Andy! No!
Now, here's another clue. Sid's house in the hallway, the carpet matches the carpet in the film The Shining. Now, this carpet is called Higgs Hexagon, or Higgs Hexagon. Here it is right here. The story behind Kubrick's carpet in The Shining revealed. It's called Higgs Hexagon, which is HH, which is 88, of course. I'll link this article in here so you can see proof of that. But if you look at the carpet pattern here, you'll notice that it's 3 hexagons in each element of the carpet. So let's look at one element of the carpet. You have a central hexagon. You have, which is in red. You have one outside of it, which is brown. You have an orange one outside of that. That's 3 hexagons, 3 6-sided hexagons. So that's 666. Now, what was The Shining all about? Well, The Shining was all about MK Ultra trauma-based mind control. And many of you will remember the plot of the film about how Danny had his arm dislocated by his father, Jack. That caused a mental break in Danny, fracturing off his personality into a smaller but stronger version of himself, which was Tony the Tiger. Tony would speak through Danny's finger. So what you have in effect is Russian dolls. A personality within a personality. Things within things. We call this the nested reality. Or paper clips. Smaller shapes within bigger shapes. Now, when you look at the carpet again, that's exactly what you see. A paper clip. You could actually design a paper clip that looks like this by copying this design. And look at these other paper clip shapes. These are real paper clips. We've seen the shape before, haven't we? In different contexts. And now you know the true meaning behind what the paperclip means and why this symbol was used in the other context that we can't talk about anymore. Paperclips. Now, there was also a nested toy, a Russian doll's egg, in the film Toy Story. I didn't put a clip of this in the actual video today because I forgot to. But here are some images of the eggs coming out of each other in Toy Story. So that confirms. I don't ever just look at one thing. You have to have at least 2 or 3 confirmations, something repeating, before you can use it in a decode. That's the way I do things on this channel. So let's keep going with this. So now you see how this trauma theme against toys / children, it shouldn't be showing up in this Toy Story film, should it? It's been slipped in covertly. It's been slipped in covertly. And that brings us to the Tom Hanks film called The Burbs. And it's an overtly demonic film with 666 home addresses, witches' circles, and the scene that you're going to see next, which is a barbecued, we're going to start calling him Hom Tanks. Hom Tanks. He's surrounded by a circle of 13 witches.
I could have a cookout later.
It was so nice of you to invite the new neighbors over for a barbecue.
You and I could have a cookout later.
Same actor, same barbecue grill in 2 different films. Themes of torture, burning, witchcraft, human sacrifice, Satanism, showing up in a children's film. Toy Story came out 13 plus 13 years ago, 26 years ago.
You and I could have a cookout later.
13 and 13 years ago. 13 witches.
Oh, Ray Peterson.
Who the heck ordered the blood shake?
Hey, Ray, it's not Skip, it's me, Art. I'm just pretending to be Skip.
And here, Hom Tanks in The Burbs predicts his own Mr. Rogers role that would happen exactly 30 years later. Hom Tanks, Mr. Rogers, actually released on the same date that Toy Story did. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, November 22nd, 2019. Toy Story, November 22nd, 1995. Here's The Burbs, 1989. And the scene that you just saw. Let's keep playing this here.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
A beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
Now, so crazy, right? So what you just saw was the completion of a demonic circle with the release dates on the date of Massacre Sacrifice, November 22nd. Coming full circle, linking all this together. In other words, you can't just have Toy Story without the Burbs film. So there's some witchcraft going on right here, isn't there? Now that brings us to A113. What is A113? Well, Pixar describes it as a kind of like Where's Waldo Easter egg hunt. And this A113 appears in almost every Pixar film. I think it actually appears in some Disney films as well. Sometimes it's hidden and you have to kind of hunt for it. Let's play this out here.
Just go. I'll catch up.
There it is on the license plate. So after a lot of research, it appears as though we discovered the root meaning of A113. A113 is November 13th, A being the first letter of the alphabet. So 1113, November 13th, 2013 is when they passed the Epi Act. It was passed by Mo Mama, and it was actually passed by Congress a few weeks earlier on Halloween 2013. You can look all this up on the House of White website. It's all there. The Epi Act, in which they put these pens in all the schools. And we all know what these pens degrade into when they're exposed to light and air. You can go right onto the website for Epi and look into their package insert, and it says right there in plain English in black and white letters that when exposed to light and air, that it turns into pink acrinodrome and brown telemonin. So this A113 appearing through these kids' films is cringy, isn't it? And this gives a whole new meaning to Woody's catchphrase, "There's a snake in my booty." Anyway, we will be here later in the week with Toy Story Part 2. And we'll see these same exact themes persisting again to confirm what we found the first time. If you're still on the fence and you're like, no, well, let's look at Toy Story 2. And we will see the same exact themes. Children in boxes, toys in boxes, and everything else. So anyway, all right, let's go into the chat here. Good morning, everybody. All right. Now you understand why we had to redo this, because, you know, the first time we did this, you know, we were really upset. Now I've had a chance to calm down a little bit, but you know, because all of this surrounds a particular actor, doesn't it? And we saw all that happen and all of that get disclosed. But notice in this decode, we didn't focus on that. We're just focusing on the material that was brought before us. And for anyone reviewing this video, understand that there are much more crude treatments of the Toy Story film here on the YouTube server. And what was it? Help me out here, you guys. Oh, what's it called? Someone did like a spoof on it, where they actually turned Buzz into what we said that it looked like they were depicting here in Toy Story. It's a particular channel on YouTube that looks at old cartoons and they do spoofs on them. You guys know what I'm talking about. Let's see who gets it first. Okay. I don't see anyone's got it yet. It's like basically an adult cartoon. And it's right here on YouTube server. So if they're going to allow that, then they got to allow this kind of decode as well. No, not Robot Chicken. It's called... Oh, what's it called? Let's see if, well, no, we'll look for it live because we might get into trouble here. Gwendolyn's not getting it. Maybe somebody, yes, Adult Swim. Thank you. Signals of Virtue. Yeah, so if you type in Adult Swim right here in YouTube server, there's a much more crude version of Toy Story. So if that's on their server with ads on it, then they can't pick on us. Because all we did was talk about the same thing, but we were much more tasteful about it. So no, it's Adult Swim. So if someone's unclear about what you just watched in this decode, just put your questions here, and the folks here will help you. Because there's some things I couldn't really say, but we can type it in here, right? No, it's Adult Swim. I think you should be able to find it just by looking at that. Okay. Yep. It is a channel from Cartoon Network, Malin. It is not Hydra. It's definitely Cthulhu. 100% looking in Lovecraft. Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just calling out the symbolism. I don't know exactly what it means in the context of that scene that we talked about where we saw the Hydra block. I'll leave that up to you guys. I don't like to read too much into things until I actually, see patterns and patterns upon patterns. I just wanted you guys to see that the block was there. And I'm not making any claims about anything. So, all right, you guys. I think we're going to be back on there tomorrow with Between the Headlines. I also decoded, what is it called? Why am I drawing a blank this morning? The Bourne Legacy. And it was all about super soldiers and a virus. So I got clips on that already. We'll do that later in the week. It's not going to be a very long decode because there's only a few scenes that talk about it. Basically, they talk about rearranging the genetic makeup of the person and enhancement. And all of this is, the carrier for it is a V word risk. So bizarre. So thanks a lot, everyone, for showing up today. And we'll see you guys tomorrow with Between the Headlines. Have a great day.